This is a demonstration video for the Long Island Randall Genealogy Handbook. And we're starting out at the Randall website, longislandrandalls.org, for a very important reason. It's best to download the version that's currently stored at the website rather than using a version that you might have stored in your computer. And I'll scroll down to the section of the web page that deals with the handbook. I click the icon. I select Open the file. Before the handbook opens, I have to enable the macros in the handbook. So I'll do that now, and the file starts to open. And here we are. And you can see the pages of the book down at the bottom of the page. We start out with the introduction, which is where we are now, and several other miscellaneous pages before you get into the body of the book. Pages 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way through 1500. Each of these pages is devoted to a descendant of Stephen Randall and his great-grandfather, John Randall, who was the first Randall to settle in America. So I'll click the link to enter the book, which brings us to the table of contents. There are links throughout this page, and indeed throughout the entire book, that will bring you to various places within the handbook. These links will bring you to the first page of each chapter. Each chapter being devoted to one generation of Randalls. The first generation starts with John Randall, and Stephen Randall is in the fourth generation. First, we'll talk about the navigation tools. Suppose I want to go to page 1. Well, one easy way is just to click that tab, and that will bring me to page 1. Going back to the table of contents, here's another way to get to page 1. I can advance from one page to the next by a keyboard procedure. On your keyboard, you depress the Control key, which is in the lower left-hand corner of your keyboard. Holding that key depressed, you hit the letter N. N stands for Next. We see that brings us to the next page, Topics of Interest. Now, if I want to get to page 1, I can depress it again and again, as many times as I need to get to page 1. There is an alternative method to go back one page at a time, and to do this you press the Control key, and while that key is depressed you press the letter P. P stands for Previous. Each time I press it I go back one page. So now we're back on the table of contents page, and we see these two procedures, Control Next and Control Previous, described here. There is another navigation tool that you can use if you know the name of the person that you're looking for. You click the Find Page link, and a dialog box appears asking for the name of the person that you're looking for. I'm going to look for Albert Davis Randall. When you enter a name here, you enter the last name first, Randall, followed by a comma, and then his first and middle name, Albert Davis. Notice as I'm typing the name, the program anticipates the spelling of the name. To be sure that I have selected the right name, I can open up the box. I see that he's the only Albert Davis Randall in the book, so I know I've selected the right name. So then I hit the Go button, and voila, I'm at his page. On any one of the pages in the book, there will always be a link going back to the table of contents. The individual pages for each Randall are divided into two sections. The left-hand side is a tabular listing of all of that person's vital statistics. Chapter number, which corresponds to the generation number, the page number in the book, birth date, and death date. Now this information is given for the person that the page belongs to and his immediate family, his father, his mother, his spouse's in-laws, and his children. On the right-hand side, we have a chart giving the lineage for this person, Albert Davis Randall. We find his name down here at the end of this trail of arrows that starts from John Randall and ends with Albert Davis. Now you'll notice that there are two numbers above his name. The first number is his chapter number, and the second number is his page number. And above him we have his parents, his grandparents, great-grandparents going all the way back to John Randall. Below him we see a listing of all of his siblings, and we see that their pages in the book are sequential. One thing that you'll notice is that all of the names in these pages have a color field. The orange color field means that the person listed is in the Randall bloodline. The gray field refers to that person's spouse, who is usually not in the Randall bloodline. And then we have a dark gray field, which denotes the parents of the spouse who is not in the Randall bloodline. You will notice that there are two sets of links on the left-hand side of the page. The top link is for the father of Albert Randall, who is in the Randall bloodline. The bottom links take us to his children. If I click this top link, it will bring me to the page of Albert's father, Horace Gates Randall. If I click the father link again, that will bring me to Albert's grandfather. Click it again, and I go to his great-grandfather. If I keep on clicking it, I'll go all the way back to John Randall. So you have the ability to move vertically backwards from generation to generation, all the way back to the beginning of time. So if we want to get back to Albert Randall's page, we have to go back to the table of contents, click the Find Page button, and we already have his name selected, so I hit the Go button, and we are back at his page. Before we leave Albert's page, I'd like to show you a few more navigation tools. We've already seen how to go to the person's father. By clicking down below, we can go to each of his children, and clicking the father link will bring us back to Albert Davis's page. But what if we want to move laterally instead of vertically? Suppose I would like to look at the page for his sister, Sarah. Well, all I have to do is press the Control N repeatedly until I get down to Sarah's page, because these pages are sequential. I just want to mention one more thing about this Find Page option. Suppose I'm looking for Jeremiah Randall. I don't know what his middle name is. The only thing I know is that he was born in the late 1800s. So I'll enter his name, Randall, space, Jeremiah. I don't know his middle name. If I expand this list here, I see that there are several Jeremiah Randalls, and I don't know which one to select. In order to find the Randall that I'm looking for, I really have to go to the index. So I'm going to cancel this and go to the index right now. The index is a table of everybody in this book, whether they're in the bloodline or not. And it contains much the same information for each person as is contained on the individual pages. The color coding is preserved throughout this book. So if I look at page 9, this page belongs to John Randall the third. His background is orange, and then we have his first wife's parents, his second wife, and his second wife's parents. You do have the capability of sorting this index according to the type of information that you're looking for. Right now you're looking at a sorting by page number. Now I'll click the sorting options to see what other ways we can sort this index. Here is the default setting, which you're looking at right now. I'm going to select now alphabetical listing. What that does is it sorts all of the names in alphabetical order, last name first. Do you remember the Jeremiah Randall that we were looking for? Well, let's scroll down to all of the Jeremiah Randalls. Okay, here they're all listed. We have to select the right one. Remember, he was born in the late 1800s. 1887, that's the one that we're looking for. So I can click his link then, and I'm at his page. So you see, this alphabetical sorting is valuable if you're looking for somebody in the book and you don't have a lot of information about him. The next sorting option is again an alphabetical listing, but it's a listing of people in the Randall bloodline only. The benefit of this sorting is that it brings all of the Randall bloodline to the top, and you'll notice that they're all linked. Another way you can sort the data is by their birthplace. Here we have each person's birthplace sorted first by state, then by city or town. And the only thing I might mention here is that since this book is concerned with Long Island Randalls, and there's so many Randalls born in Long Island, I've designated Long Island as a state. You can also sort by their place of residence. That's this column here. Sorting by place of residence is valuable if you are looking for Randalls that may live nearby you. You can sort by their place of death, which is this column, or you can sort by their burial site. The last sorting brings the names of everybody in the book for whom we have contact information. That's this column right here. We've given a number to each person that we have contact information for. The number varies from 1 to 10, 1 being absolute certainty and 10 being the exact opposite. That covers the most important elements of the book. Let's go back to the table of contents again and explore some of these special functions. The first one, which I've listed all by itself here, is align pages. You notice that if you spend a lot of time working in the book, you'll be moving pages around. And those pages stay exactly as you leave them when you go to another page. So after a while, the book can get kind of messy. The Align Pages link, which I'm going to click now, and see the little hourglass there, goes through all 1,500 pages and neatens them up so that when you go to these pages, you're always up at the top of the page. The remaining special functions are devoted toward information retrieval. The Relations Chart link, which I'll click now, tells you how anybody in this book who is in the Randall bloodline is related to anybody else in the Randall bloodline. So I'm going to create one now by clicking on this link. And it asks for the two names. I'm just going to enter my name and my brother's name. Now let's see what happens. Here is the relation chart, and it shows my brother and me and our common ancestor, which turns out to be our father. So we are indeed brothers, and that information is summarized over here. It's very simple, and it's a lot of fun. The next function is called Relations Table. And I'll click that right now. The Relations Table is a listing of everybody in generations 9 through 12, and it tells how all of these people are related to somebody that you select. The reason we've restricted the relations table to generations 9 through 12 is that we want to restrict this table to Randalls who are still alive. And there is nobody in generation 8 or before who is still living. This is the relations table for me, and I'm up at the top of the page. Below my name, it lists my immediate family, and then below that, we get into the cousins. First come the first cousin, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sometimes sixth. So it lists these relations in decreasing degrees of closeness. In order to create the table, you click the Create link and enter the name of the person. So I can enter any name. And then I hit the Go button to create the new table. I'm not going to do that because it takes about 4 minutes to create the new table. Let's go back to the table of contents and take a look at the next special function, which is called Living Descendants. The Living Descendants table is very similar to the Relations table with two distinct differences. The first difference is that you can create this table for anybody in the book. It doesn't make any difference whether they're living or dead. The person you select is not restricted to generations 9 through 12. The list that's produced, though, is restricted to generations 9 through 12, presumably living Randalls, and they are all either direct descendants or nephews or nieces of the person that you select. For my table, the list is quite short. I don't have very many living descendants. As a matter of fact, I don't have any. All I have are siblings, nephews, and nieces. Going back to the table of contents, we come to the last special function, which is called the People Finder. That one's a little bit complicated, so I've devoted a special YouTube video just to it. You can access this video by clicking on the link shown here. So that covers the basics of what's contained in the book and how to navigate around. We're ready to leave the book right now. And to do that, we go back to the table of contents and we click the Close the eBook link. We get a little dialog box there that says, it just warns you, don't save anything. So here we click Don't Save. And the book closes. And we've exited Excel and we're back at the website. So that's all there is to it. And I thank you for your attention.